I'm going to take this a little bit further with our angles and say that we have our protractor lined up, ready to go. What then is our measurement of our angles? So you can see on this page here, we have 4 items. So I know on the directions it said for you to have a scratch piece of paper and a pencil out. I want you to number your paper 1 through 8. And it might help for you to skip lines so you can see what you're doing if you're on a lined piece of paper. If not, or if you're on a whiteboard, just number 1 through 8. We are going to look at 1 and 2 together so you know what I'm getting at. And then you're going to try some on your own and we'll go back and check it. Okay. So number 1 is this first card over here. And we want to name the angle first. Remember, that's always the first thing we look at. So when we look at that blue angle there, is it acute, right, or obtuse? So you're right. It should be obtuse. So that's the first thing I want you to write down on your lined piece of paper. The next thing I want you to look at is what type of degree is this angle at? So if we said it's obtuse, if we look, this one's on this bottom line down here is lined up with the 0 right here. Whew. And this one kind of comes up over this way. So are we going to look at the lower numbers or the higher numbers? And since it's obtuse, we're going to look at the higher numbers. So you can see it's almost on that halfway mark between 150 and 160, but not quite. It's a little bit past that. So 155 would lie right between those two. And since it's a little past that, then I would say this is 156 degrees. So on your paper, you would write obtuse 156 degrees, just like that. Okay, so now we're going to look at number 2. We're going to do the same thing. So first of all, ask yourself, what type of angle is this? Acute, right, or obtuse? And this one, again, is obtuse. So I hope that's what you wrote down. Now we're going to look at the angle. So we just make sure the one line is on 0. The other one is up here. Do we look at the little numbers or the larger numbers? You're right. We look at the larger numbers. Is it right on a line? No, but it's way close. So if we were right on the line, it'd be between 120 and 130, which would put us at 125. But it's a little bit past, kind of like the last one we did. So I bet you're thinking, oh, that's 126 degrees. And if that's what you were thinking, then you're absolutely right. Okay, now I'm going to have you think about 3 and 4. Again, I want you to write the name of the angle and its degree down on your piece of paper, and then we will go through it. So while you're working those out, please pause this video right now so you can solve those 2 problems. I'm going to keep going because of the sake of recording this, but I would like you to pause this right now and solve 3 and 4 so you're ready to check your answers. Okay, so we're going to look now at number 3. You should have paused this. You should have done 3 and 4 already. If you didn't, do it right now. So if we look at number 3, is this angle acute, right, or obtuse? So I hope your answer on this one you wrote is acute, because it's so cute. It's not big and wide like the other ones. It's so cute. Okay, so then it's a smaller angle. That means we're dealing with the smaller numbers. So when you looked at that, that one's on 0, this one's up here. It's not quite on the middle mark. It's a little bit less than that and lies between probably 60 and 65. And I know yours might not be right on it, but I sure hope you didn't choose 60 or 65 because that's not the answer. So I would accept probably 62 degrees, 63 degrees, and 64 degrees, just because it's kind of lying between them. The best one I would say is probably 63. So if you get that one, you're probably right on the money. The rest of it, I'm sure your teacher would accept because they're very close in this one. Okay, now let's look at number 4. So first ask yourself, acute, right, or obtuse? And I'm sure betting that you guys said this one is obtuse. This one's really close to being a straight line, right? So then it's obtuse. What type of, or what degree did you look at? The littles or the bigs? I hope you looked at the big numbers and recognize that it's between 160 and 170. That halfway mark right there would be 165. So it's past that. So 168 is probably the best answer. Now, your teacher probably would accept 169 and maybe even 167. But the best one is probably 168 right in the middle, okay? So I hope that's what you got on this one. Okay, now on your line piece of paper, because I'm going to flip to the next page, you're going to do 4 more problems. So you should have written your numbers down all the way to 8. So I now want you to do 5, 6, 7, and 8. So pause the screen again, solve these 4 problems, and we're going to go over them for you to check your answers. Okay? So pause this and then we'll go over it. Okay, so you now should have done these 4 problems. If you didn't pause this. So pause it, and then we'll go through them. Okay, so this first one here up at the top, number 5, what type of angle did you get? I sure hope you said, oh, cute, it's so little. So since it's acute, we're looking at the little numbers. That's always kind of a trick there. Now, if we look at the little numbers, we have right around 40. It's a little bit past. This one's so close, maybe 40 would even be acceptable. But probably 41 is the most reasonable. Okay, and please don't forget your degree, because there's a big difference between 41 and 41 degrees. Okay. All right, number 6. Number 6, I sure hope you said your angle was obtuse. It's big. It's wee big. Maybe not as big as the last obtuse angle, but it's big. So now we're looking at the larger numbers. So we have 150, and it's really, really close to that, but not quite. So the best answer should be 149 degrees. That would probably be the best reasonable. Now, 148 degrees. Okay, but that's pushing it. And 150 is pretty close too, but the best is 149 degrees. Okay, now looking at this next one. What kind of angle is this next one here? I sure hope you got. Oh, cute. He's so little. So since it's so little, which is still bigger than the top of cute though. Look at that one. This is where I'm so glad we had one that's right on the line. It's directly on the line, whereas these other 2 on top were not. They were so close, but you could see the line, so that means it wasn't right on it. So that one should be exactly 70 degrees. No wiggle room on that one because it's directly on the line. Okay? When we look at this one over here for number 8, I sure hope that you said this angle here is, get my cursor ready, obtuse. It's big. So we're looking at the larger numbers. So we have 130 to 140. It's not on either line. It's past the halfway mark, so it's more than 135 and less than 140. So probably the best one would be 138 degrees. I would accept 139. Maybe 137, but 140, no, because that is not on the line. Just like the one on number 7. Number 7 was the only one that's on the line that you can really count it that way. Okay? All right, if you didn't do so well on this, my suggestion to you is you rewind this video, start all over, and check them again. Okay? That's going to help you the most. All right. We'll see you next time. Bye, 4th graders.